Hey everyone, it's JoJo, and I'm here to do a scary story time. This is going to be the witch one. So, this is going to be when I had a boyfriend for a very short period of time. This was a long time ago. This was like when I just got into college. So, I want to say like 2010, 2011. I was probably like 20, 21 years old. And my friend was like, you should try dating apps because I was like, I just wanted to have a boyfriend finally and go on some dates. I'd never really been on dates before. So I, made a profile and like maybe a week later I got this message from this guy. He seemed really cute and I was really attracted to him and I was really curious to see, what he was about. He said he worked at a church and, his family and his friends all work at this church and I was really intrigued by it. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a Catholic, so whatever. Even though I'm not that religious, I'm like, that's cool. So we met up for dinner, and we had a really, really good time. And yeah, there was just something about him that was just possessing. Like when I met him, I was like, he's cute, he's charming. And yeah, I was just like, I was really digging him. I was like, damn, like, like, but he seemed also mysterious. Like, he wouldn't tell me certain things. Like in the beginning, he didn't want me, he told me he did not want me over his house. He said he's a very private person. He wants to get to know the person before, he invites someone over. And I said, that's fine. You can just come over to my place. So we would go over to my place and, he was into a lot of like, weird stuff because I was asking him like, so what kind of movies are you into? Like, what do you want to watch? And I don't know, he was obsessed with like witch movies. Like he loved witch movies. He loved like nothing like Hocus Pocus, like cute witch movies like that. Like he was obsessed with like really dark, like sinister I forgot which movie it was. It was something about witches and he loved The Craft. The Craft was also one of his favorite movies. And okay, so we put on The Craft. I remember the first time we did put on The Craft and I listened, in the beginning I didn't think anything of it. Like, okay, he likes it's I feel like witch movies are for entertainment purposes. So I love Hocus Pocus. If you love The Craft, then The Craft. There was some other movie that he liked, and I can't remember the name of it. It was some kind of French movie about witches, and he wanted me to. And I tried watching it, but it was like a little bit too creepy for me, so I told him to shut it off. So we did put on The Craft, and I don't know, like I fell asleep. I went to because it was late at night, so I fell asleep. And then when I woke up in the morning, he was gone. And I thought that was odd. I was like, what is he like? What is he doing? Like, why did he leave without saying goodbye? So then, like a couple of days later, we were coming back from a bite to eat, and I'm gonna name him Jason. I'm gonna name him Jason. So he's Jason. We'll name him Jason. So yeah. So we were coming back from a bite to eat, and my neighbor was outside, and you know, she was like waving hello, and I was like, oh hey, how you doing? And she was like, oh, who's the guy? I said, oh, this is Jason. This is the guy I'm starting to date. She was like, oh, nice to meet you. She shook his hand and she got like a jolt, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Now my neighbor is very like clairvoyant, spiritual. Like she's all about energies and positive and negative energies. She's not a witch, she's not like a psychic or anything like that, but she's just really tuning into people's energies and she's just a very spiritual, like religious lady. And she got like a jolt and I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I think I thought I saw something. I'm fine. Nice to meet you, she said to him. Go back inside. And then I want to say the next day, I got like a doorbell. The doorbell rang, and it was my neighbor. And I welcomed her, and I said, "Oh, how you doing? Like, how's everything going?" She normally doesn't show up like unannounced like that, but she did. And I said, "Oh, how you doing?" So we came into the room. She goes, "Listen, I really want to talk to you about something serious, and I hope you can listen to me and hear me out. I said, sure. What's going on? She was, listen, I'm getting very bad vibes from your boyfriend. I said, but you only met him once. Like, you guys, I mean, he was nice to you. She's like, it's not about that. It's more so like, I get like these energies, and I feel like he's up to no good. Like, I get like when I shook his hand, I felt like some negative energy, like of surrounding him. I was like, okay. I mean, what he was saying, she was saying was kind of unbelievable. I was okay. And she's like, I need to tell you something else. It's okay. She goes, well, I had a dream last night. And, I've had dreams before and they came true. And, I just wanted to tell you I had this dream and it was a very powerful dream. And I said, okay. She goes, you were in bed with the guy, Jason. And he got up and he was still laying in bed. And he went to go grab something out of a drawer. And I couldn't see what it was until he turned around and it was a spell book and a huge, like, pendulum, like devil, like one of those like pendulums, like one of those pentagrams necklaces. And he had it like over your bed, like while you were laying down sleeping. He was like humming something over your body. And then the next second, I see you guys in the cemetery, and it's like foggy and it's dark, and he's like surrounded by these people, and they're all in like black cloaks, and they're all like humming something, and you're like in the center of the circle in the cemetery. And then I don't know what happens next. I woke up, and I was like, okay. I was getting really creeped out. I was like, okay. Well, I said, well, so far he hasn't really been like nothing that we've been together for like a week or so now. Like, he seems like a nice guy. I don't think he's weird or anything like that. She goes, well, I think he's a witch. That's what I think it is. And I said, I was just like, I don't know. I mean, he never told me he was a witch. I know he works at a church, but I don't know. But the way she was telling me it, she seemed so sincere. Like, she seemed like she was really worried for me. She just told me, listen, be careful. I said, okay. So then, I want to say like a couple of days later, I wake up and I see an ambulance outside my house. And I'm like, why is an ambulance outside my house for? But I look, I check, and it's actually not outside my house, it's outside my neighbor's house. And supposedly my neighbor had a heart attack or something and she died in her sleep last night. That's what the medics told me in front of my house. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, so are you sure she's dead? She's like, yeah, she died. Now, this woman, like, she was like 60 something years old. She was old, but she wasn't to the point where she would die in her sleep of old age. But there was no other causes. They just said she had a heart attack. And I was like, oh my God. And then it made me think of what she told me before she died. And I was just like, I don't know. It was all just seeming, I don't know. I just was like, I don't know. I was like in a state of shock. So I asked Jason, I said, listen, just keeping it real with you, like, are you a witch? Because I know he's into witch movies and stuff, and, like, are you a witch? No, I'm not a witch. There's no way I'm a witch. I work at a church. I said, okay. We were just asking. There was a little while after that, I was going to get my, like a rosary beads, and I was gonna get because I was gonna go visit my mom at the cemetery because it was like Mother's Day coming up, and I went to go get like a bracelet she gave me before she died, and it was missing, and I was like, why is my bracelet missing? And then I was like, the rosaries too that I used next to my mother's prayer card was missing, and I was like, I was a little bit like, why was this stuff missing? I thought maybe I misplaced it. And then I thought back to, well, Jason did stay the night a couple times and he left without waking me up or anything like that. And I don't know. I was just like, did he steal it? But why would he steal that? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It wasn't like it was a family heirloom that cost so much money, you know. It was like just like a sentimental bracelet she gave me before she died. I was like, why would he take that? I was like, he seemed like a nice guy, and I was like, maybe am I getting charmed? Am I getting like I don't know. I maybe I was blinded by love or blinded by what I thought I wanted to see. But one night he came over again, and you know, he stayed the night again, and I asked him about, did you take my, I felt weird asking, but I said, did you take my mom's bracelet that she gave me, like the bracelet? Because I remember I told you, like, you know, I've my mom died and I have sentimental, you know, I have a bracelet that she gave me, and I remember telling you that on one of our first dates. So you know how much it means to me. So you didn't take that, did you? And he was like, no, I would never take that. So then I want to say I went to bed. You know, we watched something, whatever it was, and we went to bed. And I had a dream that night where I was in that cemetery that my neighbor was warning me about. And I was like over like on the ground, and it was like muddy, and I was like screaming out for help and no one was around me, but I was alone in the cemetery, and then there was this cloaked figure coming towards me, but I couldn't see his face. And he was like mumbling something, and then I woke up. So I was like, oh shit, you know, I woke up to Jason missing again. Like he wasn't there. And I was just like, well, why does he keep leaving without telling me, you know? But I was like, okay, that dream really spooks me out. So I got up out of the bed, and I was like, I felt like, and I felt something weird. So then I looked down and I saw that there was like mud at the bottom of my feet. And I had like dirt on my knees. And I was like, where did this come from? Then I thought back to the dream. I said, but that was just a dream. That couldn't have happened. But it felt so real. It did feel so real, but I was like, there's no way that happened. So, but I didn't know where the mud and the dirt came from. I don't know. I was just like in shock. I didn't know what to do, what to think. Finally, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I said, maybe these are just coincidences. I don't know. He was really, really nice to me. Like, he really, really was nice. He was really cute. And he was just like, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I really don't know. So it was after work. No, it was after school. After school, I was like on the bus, you know, coming back, you know, from school. I used to take the bus, and you know, I'm driving now, but this was before I drove. And I get this phone call, and I answer, and it's this woman. And I'm like, can I help you? She goes, listen, I have something really important to tell you. Are you sitting down? And I said, yeah, I'm sitting down. It was on the bus. I'm sitting down. She goes, listen, I have something very important to tell you. And you're probably wondering how I got your number. I got it through a mutual friend. I'm here to warn you about something, and you need to sit down and listen. I said, okay, what's going on? That guy, Jason, that you're dating, is that who he pretends to be? I said, who is this? Like, why are you calling me? I like Jason. Like, we're dating, but how do you know him? Like, what's going on? She goes, well, I used to date him. I'm his ex, and I was smitten with him. I was so in love, and I thought I was infatuated, but I came to realize it wasn't real. I was under a spell. And I know you feel like he's everything to you and he couldn't be anything but more, and he's all you could think about, but it's not real. It's all pretend. He doesn't care about you like that. You generally deep down are blinded by him because of the spell he probably has on you. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what the hell's going on? She's like, listen, you need to break up with him. I was fortunate enough and I somehow got out of the trance and the spell. But if I didn't, he was going to sacrifice me. He needs to sacrifice a virgin. Are you a virgin? And I said, yeah. Yeah, I told him I was a virgin. She goes, you guys didn't have sex yet, right? I was like, no, we didn't have sex yet. He didn't want to have sex. Like, he's very religious. He wants to save until marriage, he told me. And she was just like, you need to get out of that. You need to get out of that relationship right now. He's not a virgin. He's picking on you and choosing you because you're the virgin. He needs a virgin to sacrifice. He's married. He's married to someone in his witch cult that belongs to the church. It's actually not a church, it's actually a cult. And his wife works at the cult with him. And this is all an inside plot. This is all a scheme to get you close enough so he can sacrifice you and kill you. He does it. He really sacrifices Satan. He does not sacrifice Jesus. He sacrifices Satan. And I was like, she goes, has there been things coming up missing? Sentimental things? And I was like, yeah. She goes, yeah. He stole it. I said, oh my God. I said, this is all making sense now. I said, my neighbor was trying to warn me. She goes, what neighbor? I said, I have this neighbor and she got this bad vibe off him from the moment she met him. And she had this dream that he was trying to kill me or sacrifice me. And I just couldn't listen to it. I guess I was like blinded by something. I don't know what it was. I'm normally not a stupid person, but I guess he had me under some kind of spell. And she's like, well, how's the neighbor doing? I was like, she died. She had a heart attack. I can guarantee it, he killed her. He probably found out about, her having the bad vibe against him and he didn't want anyone to know, so he killed her. I'm guaranteed it because I had a friend that was trying to warn me and she ended up dying in a car crash. And everyone thought it was an accident. I promise you, you need to leave and get out of that relationship now. I was like scared, like I really was. Like I was just like in a state of shock. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know what to do. So then I got home, like I hopped the phone on her. I was like, okay, I'll break things off. I'm done with him. Like I'm too spooked. Whatever spell he had me on, this just broke the spell. I'm done. So I went home, I locked the doors, and I got a phone call from him, from Jason. He said, oh, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? I want you to finally meet my friends. I want you to finally see my church. And I said, oh my God, this is the night he's going to try to plan on sacrificing me and killing me. I said, no, I have other plans. I can't do it. He goes, you have to. You must. We have to do this tonight. I said, well, why do we have to do it tonight? We just have to. It's in the cards. It's something we need to do. Please, I beg of you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't do tonight. And then I said to him, I said, listen, cutting to the chase, I know what you are. I know you're a witch. And I know you're trying to sacrifice me. Your ex-girlfriend warned me about you. I know everything. The jig is up. Leave me alone. And then I hung up the phone. So then I want to say like later on in the night, I went to sleep and then I woke up in a cemetery and I thought I was dreaming, but this just seemed too real. This seemed too real, and I'm like, this one's not a dream. This is real. There was Jason in the dream. The cloaked figure finally took its hood off. It was Jason, and he was standing over me, and he had like my mom's bracelet she gave me and like the fucking like crucifix and like a spell book, and he had like his cult following around me, and I'm screaming, leave me alone, leave me alone. They're like, you can't, there, no one can hear you, you're in a deserted cemetery, we got you now. And so I'm like laying down and I'm like, oh my god, like please, like I'm begging, please, like please, I do not want to die. And he was like, it's too late, we got you now. I said, no, I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming. Like, she's like, no, you're not dreaming. We broke into your house in the middle of the night and we got you and we injected you with something to drug you. So, and I've been drugging you almost every night before you went to sleep. We've been in the cemetery before. And it made me think, oh my god, that's why I couldn't remember he had me drugged. I didn't remember being in the cemetery, and that's why the dirt was on me. I really was in the cemetery. So I woke up that morning with the dirt in the mud. He goes, but tonight is the final night that we're gonna do it or whatever. And he was just like, we're gonna get you. And I was like, oh my god, please. I was like screaming, please, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. But I was like out of it because he did drug me. I guess he injected me with something. And they always were surrounding me, and they were like mumbling something to Satan or whatever. They were like mumbling something. He took a knife and he was about to cut me. He says, I need some of your blood to finish the spell for the sacrifice. He's about to cut me, and all of a sudden, this white truck came rolling into the cemetery with bright lights, screaming, get the hell away from him, get away from him, screaming, right? I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? So they all like ran away, and as they were running away, the people were screaming, if you ever do anything like this again, we'll get you, we know where you are, we know where you live, you better go into hiding, you never try to hurt this boy ever again. Don't ever try to hurt anyone ever again. Screaming, right? And I'm like, oh my god, like what is going on? So the woman comes over to me and she's like, listen, it's Joanne. It's Joanne, the girl you were talking to over the phone, his ex. I'm like, oh, I go, okay, hey. I'm like, well, how'd you guys find me? Listen, we created our own like anti-cult, and we're like witch hunters, basically. And the reason why we don't go to the police is because the police would never believe us. So we create our own little clique, own little gang called, we're like witch hunters, and I'm part of it. And we knew they were gonna target you tonight because it's a full moon, and we are making sure we're putting a stop to it. He will not sacrifice. His cult will never sacrifice anyone ever again. We're putting a stop to it tonight. So they saved my life. These people, because if it wasn't for them, I would be dead right now. So I owe my life to these witch hunters that helped me that night. And they were like, listen, like if anything ever happens to this again, they gave me their business card. Listen, this is a business. This is like a real business. Like we're really like working to try to get rid of the witches and the people trying to put spells and kill people out of their own evil gain, like people who are sacrificed to Satan and bow to Satan. And we're trying to stop all of them. So listen, just stay put. I don't think they ever bother you again because they know we're onto them and we mean business. And I said, okay. She goes, listen, like, if you ever need any help, give us a call. But now you know about them, you know the truth. And just keep your doors locked for now. And I was like, okay. I was like really shooken up. I was like, I couldn't believe that this was happening to me. And I was just like, oh my god, like the one person I tried dating, like he ended up being a witch. He ended up being married. He ended up being in a witch cult. And he almost killed me. And I owe my life to the witch hunters that saved my life that night. And luckily that guy never bothered me again. We all think he moved somewhere out of the country. I think he moved somewhere in Europe, maybe. I personally think he was obsessed with that witch movie from France. He might have moved to France. I know he knew some French, so he probably moved there. And yeah, I don't think he's here anymore, from what I can tell. But yeah, that's what happened. I was under probably some kind of spell. I didn't listen to my neighbor. I didn't listen to anyone. I was like under some kind of trance. And yeah, that's on that. And unfortunately, luckily, luckily, he left my mother's bracelet and charm that she gave me before she died. I guess he dropped it on the floor in the cemetery, and I retrieved it. So I have it. So at least I have that. So he didn't get away with that. Yeah. So that's on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this spooky, scary story time. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy spooky season. Good night.